the way we've been looking at security over the years. It's primarily been focused on perimeter, building those castles, trying to fortify, entry points. But with the world changing, with the cloud coming in, with the digitalization happening, with people working from home, the perimeters have disappeared. So you need to then the entire journey has to be mapped in terms of not just looking at the alerts and logs as he rightly said, but also looking at the identities and devices and monitoring all of it, and also responding in real time. So that becomes very important. And other parameter of the digital trust, apart from looking at what you can see, what you can manage in your organization, you also need to look at the things that you are not aware of, or things outside your organization, which is internet and dark web. So threat intelligence becomes very, very critical, and the earlier presenter was also alluding towards it. Solutions like threat armor, threat simulators, they are very, very important in terms of not just monitoring the threat landscape within your organization, apart from looking at the access and the identities and the policies related to these two linking to applications and devices, but also monitoring what's happening in the outer world about your organization, about your identities, about your assets. That becomes very, very critical. So mostly the zero trust story, I'm sure if people were aware of it, and it's fairly simple to understand, but some of you who are hearing it for the first time, I'm sure in the last 1 hour, you've absolutely understood what zero trust is. But I just wanted to go back and, I don't want to talk more about the strategies and policies that have been spoken enough, but I want to take you back to the journey of, my own experiences of last 20 years in cyber, and I've seen the whole industry evolve from the firewalls and antiviruses to today's zero trust conversations that we are having. So one of the things is security has always been reactive. You agree with me?
Yeah.
It's always been an afterthought. How even today it's mostly afterthought, correct? You breached, some attack happens, some compromise happens, and immediately you get all budgets, all approvals to invest, correct? So that's how the journey has been. And when you look at trust as a concept, if I were to look at human beings, what is our natural tendency to trust people? I believe there are only two ways that two people trust each other. So either you begin by trusting that person 100% till he breaks your trust, or you start with not trusting somebody till he earns your trust, till you start, he demonstrates by his behavior over a period of time that, he is trustworthy or is loyal or is committed. And that's when you see organizations also, when a leader moves, a lot of people move with him because there is that trust factor related to that. So over the years, cybersecurity also followed the similar human behavior. We always thought that, okay, if he's a leader, if he's in a senior role, if he's the CEO or a CTO of an organization, he definitely is trustworthy. The power users. And that's how our security policies got defined, and we started saying that, okay, somewhere in between the journey, the concept came that trust, but at least verify. Not everybody, but most of the people you must verify, because they may be new employees, they may be people lower down the chain, they may get compromised. Of course, till the ransomware attacks and the bots came into picture, the game changed. And today, when you talk about trust, the whole journey has gone from trusting to completely zero trust, where you say do not trust anybody anytime, always verify. That's the whole game. Now, early examples, I can take you back to about 15 years ago, when DLP as a concept was just coming up. And DLP was a concept where you first time talking about monitoring data, looking at where the data is flowing, getting visibility into data. And I don't know how many of you were there, but if there are any early adopters and those risk takers on data DLP solutions, the DLP solutions, when they were deployed, the first thing that happened was you created it on certain words. Like if there is a confidential word, do not send it. If there is a price in a email, don't send it, block it. And suddenly what happened, the one fine day, the CEO's email got blocked. You know, so you had a CEO who wanted to send some urgent mail, and because those confidential words were there, it got blocked, it didn't go through. What would have happened after that? Any guesses? And this was a very common thing those days, huh? The early first year of adoption of DLP. You know, the IT manager got the call from the CEO's office 5 levels down, and what would have happened? That was the end of the DLP project. It was unplugged, kept aside. So, and that's where this whole concept of power users, you know, they would be allowed all access, allow everything, they're all admin users. And when you had the malwares coming in, the ransomware attacks coming in now, that's when the whole story changed, saying that, oh, I could use the admin logins to get into the organization and leverage. So these are the kind of things, and of course, the perimeter-less concept that you're mentioning about. You know, a time came when the whole world only had 2 kinds of organizations. And organizations that have been breached and know about it, and of course the other ones, the organizations who have breached and don't know about it. But of course, you know, I had a very interesting conversation. I found a third set of organizations also, especially in the government. Organizations who know they've been breached about it, but pretend that they don't know about it. So that was a big learning for me as well. But that started changing the perimeter story. And that's where the concept of, you know, zero trust, or even the concept of zero trust, of course, started about 10, 12 years ago. It was coined for the first time then. But the whole journey towards perimeter-less organizations, working from anywhere, working from home, cloud workloads, private workloads, all that concept started, you know, coming in the last 5, 7 years. And of course, the COVID and the digitalization of technology has accelerated the adoption of zero trust. So the whole concept, I mean, I don't need to elaborate much on it, but the journey has been towards this, that you will have to look at, you know, not just the typical, you know, another challenge what happened was, and I don't know how many organizations have this today, there used to be separate network management team, separate endpoint management team. They would not talk to each other. So the network management team would figure out some branch, some endpoint has been compromised, he cannot take action. He has to tell the endpoint team, that guy is going to take that action, and if he's on leave, by any chance he misses the mail for a week, 10 days, there's no action happening. Then came the SOC operations. Somebody said, oh, we need to drive visibility. Because we're not able to drive visibility, then a third layer was created of SOC operations. They would not talk to the network guys. The network guys would not talk to the endpoint guys. So you had 3 layers of you know, security management coming into play, and they would then start creating this. Now with zero trust, what's happening is it's not about managing your endpoints, managing your networks, but the key important thing, and that's been highlighted so many times, is how do I integrate identities into my visibility, into my monitoring, into my response? How do I integrate device surface area? You know, how do I integrate all that into my visibility so that I get a holistic 360 view, degree view, not just through my networks and my endpoints, but also to the people and the devices they access, the applications they access, from where they can access. So that's what holistically is building zero trust. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes.